So this morning we've been talking about whether it's okay to touch people when you're talking to them. Friendly touching on the hand, on the arm, maybe a hug. Is it creepy, or is it a way of reaching out to another human being? There were some pictures in the press recently of the American Vice President Joe Biden standing behind the wife of the new American Defense Secretary with his hands on her shoulders and speaking into her ear. And she looks really, really uncomfortable. So why is it that some people think it's okay? And of course it's a very British thing, isn't it, not to touch? If we were having this conversation in France, for example, I suspect it would be very different. Well, our reporter Amy Lee has been out onto the streets of Middlesbrough this morning asking them what they think.
I wouldn't like it.
Well, what is it? Is it just a bit too over-familiar?
Yeah, too familiar with someone you don't know.
It can make you feel a bit...
Yes, I wouldn't. Yes. If it's someone I know, that's totally different, but not a stranger.
Sort of thing, or?
It can be if you don't know them.
What do you think? Is it a bit over-familiar, right? It should be friendly, isn't it?
I wouldn't like them to do it to me now.
Do you do that to maybe to friends, like, hey, give them a bit of a hug, put their arm around them while you're having a chat, or?
No.
Do you do that? Are you much of a hugger?
No, not really.
That one I watched and that was creepy.
Is it creepy when someone does that?
Well,
does it depend whether you know them?
She's married, and the guy who she's married to is stood right next to her.
I'm more worried about sniffing her hair.
He stood there for like 5 minutes, holding her shoulders.
See, we're training occupational therapists, so we have to touch people. But yeah, that is quite creepy.
Well, if I'd have walked over here and been like, oh, hey, girls, and like put an arm around you, or maybe, oh, lovely hair, and stroked your hair.
Probably, wouldn't we?
If it's a friend, does it make it... Because some people they're more tactile than other people, aren't they? They like to hug and they like to rub your back.
But then Chelsea, we're waiting for, like, hates.
She hates being touched, doesn't she? It's a personal thing.
A bit over familiar, I think, if you don't know the person. If you know them quite well, that's quite acceptable.
If you know them quite... Some people are huggers, aren't they? They like the kind of human contact, and some people are like,
Yeah, that's true. It's okay if you're very friendly with the person, but not if you don't know the person at all. No.
If I'd have come over here and said, oh, hey, fancy talking to me on the radio, and touched you would have thought...
I'd have thought, no, that's a bit too familiar.
I didn't do that, for the record.
Okay.
Good job then, by the sound of it. All right, let's talk to Grant Harrold, former royal butler and etiquette expert. Help us out, Grant. What is the etiquette for touching somebody in a friendly way?
Good morning, Mike. I was actually a bit shocked when I heard about this morning. I mean, people have been talking about it for the last few days, and the first thing I was going to say is that I think I'll contact the Vice President and invite him to one of my etiquette classes to kind of talk to him and demonstrate how you do this and how you don't. You don't. I mean, if you don't know somebody or you know them not that well, you don't just go up and you go into their personal space, as I would call it.
Why not? Who's decided that this isn't on?
I think it's just as humans, none of us like people. You get that feeling when somebody's right in your kind of personal space, and some people maybe don't mind, but majority of people do mind. I'm all for hugs. I'm not against hugging or anything like that. But again, I wouldn't just come up and hug a stranger. I wouldn't, if I didn't know you, Mike. I wouldn't just come up and suddenly just embrace you and give you a hug, because one, you're probably quite shocked, and two, I'm getting into your personal space.
Yeah, so if you were a studio guest rather than on the phone, Grant, and you walked through the door, if I gave you a big man hug, that would be inappropriate.
I think I'd become very stiff. I think I'd just stand there looking, thinking, where's the door?
So how did we... Because I think I'd be right in saying that in France it would be different, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, different cultures do things very differently, and that's very important. I mean, not everything's done the way that we might do things. Being British, we are a bit more, can I say it, slightly more standoffish. We are a bit, when it comes to, again, with the personal space, people are very protective of that. And which isn't a bad thing, but again, if you go to another country, it's really important that you read up and you know exactly where you're going, because that might be something that people want you to do. And again, if you don't, people could be offended at you not embracing the way of doing things.
Yeah, and of course you should never, ever, ever make physical contact with the Queen, should you?
Well, no, and we have seen over the years, even when I was in the royal household, you did see people come up and do some very odd things to the members of the royal family, as such, putting the hands onto them or putting the hand on the back. Again, at the end of the day, they're not going to be sent to the Tower of London, but It's just the things you do and the things you don't, and that's something that you wouldn't do. The Queen wouldn't turn around and say, what are you doing, or move out the way, because she's absolutely, she's such a fantastic individual and a real lady, and she would just go with it. But again, I put it down to nerves. I think when people, from what I've seen, when they get nervous around the members of the royal family, they automatically put their hands out or put them round. And I say, I don't think they're definitely not trying to cause offence. It's just they're nervous, and they just go for the putting the hand on the back.
But if somebody you work with comes up to you, so you know them reasonably well, and they come up to you and sort of touch you on the arm and at the same time ask you to do something, is that okay?
Again, if it's somebody you know really well and you don't feel, threatened or intimidated by them, and you're quite comfortable around them, then yes. I mean, there's people that I've been working with for many years, and I might do that or vice versa, and that's fine. But I certainly wouldn't do it to somebody that I didn't know or didn't really know that well.
Grant, always a pleasure. Thank you for the top tips.
Thank you for having me back, Mike.
You're welcome. There we are, Grant Harrold, former royal butler and etiquette expert.